Foul. Johnny Dawkins, number 3 for the 76ers. As you're right, Steve, Barkley had to pick up Jordan on the switch.
In isolation, quick step by Jordan gets him in. Johnny Dawkins trying to help out, picks a personal foul. The Bulls have struggled to really get field goals in this third quarter of play, but what has helped them has been the fact that they were in the penalty early. They've been able to go to the line, stop the clock. They've been able to stay close in this contest. 3:27 to go in the third quarter of play. So even though they haven't controlled the game, they've been able to make up some ground on the scoreboard.
Jordan talking about pride and still some goals to reach for the Bulls the rest of the season, so they've clinched the playoffs. There's Hawkins quickly down court on the pass from Barkley.
The better running team is supposed to be the Chicago Bulls, but they have not been able to get in a real hot-tempo game. Barkley out on the break, a good pass to Hersey Hawkins, who uses the other side to score. But again, we come back with the stoppage of the clock. It was 3:27, now it's 3:09. So even though the 76ers have scored quickly, not a lot of time off the clock with the Bulls trying to get chances to score.
Armin Gilliam has just picked up his 4th foul, first player in the game with 4, as Grant rolls it through. And Gilliam will go to the bench as Ron Anderson comes on. Anderson in his 8th season out of Fresno State has played every game for the 76ers since he came over.
Anderson is a player that they like to see really be aggressive at the offensive end. The Chicago Bulls have not really been able to make it the Philadelphia 76ers pay at the line. You see the comparison between Grant and Gilliam.
Ron Anderson was born in Chicago. Paxson with a steal after that off-balance attempted pass, and Paxson converts from one end to the other.
That time the defense forced the turnover. They were able to run out of it, and an easy shoot for John Paxson.
Bulls making a run here in the final 2.5 minutes of the third quarter. Barkley against Grant. Double teamed by Purdue. Finds Hawkins for 3.
That's the danger of double teaming, and when you've got a guy like Hawkins who can knock down perimeter shots.
And Barkley has been excellent in the passing department today. There's another rebound for Charles. 3-on-2. Hawkins for another 3.
The 76ers challenging at the offensive end. They don't want 2, they want 3. They want to kill these Chicago Bulls before the third quarter ends.
Back-to-back trays by Hawkins. 3-point shooting has given the Sixers a 10-point lead.
And one of the things that's helped is the ability to rebound the ball. All the Bulls are down in the paint. They're slow getting back. A long outlet pass, and there's Hersey Hawkins with plenty of time for back-to-back 3-point field goals. That really gives him a big shot in the arm with a 10-point advantage.
Charles Barkley approaching a triple-double. He has 25 points, 10 rebounds, and now 7 assists.
They've got Shackelford against Pippen with the shot clock at 5.
Shackelford thought he had the block, but instead has whistled for his 3rd foul.
They did everything right except at the end. Shackelford goes for the fake and just gets enough of the arm of Scottie Pippen to put him on the line.
Pippen sinks the first. Out of Central Arkansas.
when you can control the Chicago Bulls, it means you've controlled Jordan and Pippen from having explosive double-figure quarters. And so far, we've only seen Jordan of the two have the double-figure quarter at 10.
Shackelford brings it into front court, being hounded by Scott Williams. Hawkins tries to save it, and he does to Barkley. Dish to Barkley for the slam.
It's been ball movement and player movement that's really caused the Chicago Bulls problems here in the last 3 minutes of play.
Jordan banks it home. That's what's been lacking in the Sixers' attack this season, has been good ball movement, not holding it quite as long, and today they've shown vast improvement in that category and having a good scoring game already, 86 points. It'll go back to the 76ers, even though Williams argues his case. Here's that last play, Stafford.
You'll see the ball is saved by Hersey Hawkins. They get the ball back to him now. He penetrates, and then Barkley cuts to the hoop, and that's what makes the play, the penetration and the cut. They throw the ball off the hand of B.J. Armstrong. Now, these are two calls that Phil Jackson said, my guys never touched the ball. Not Williams, not B.J. Armstrong. 7 on the shot clock.
Charles Barkley looking at Phil Jackson like, what in the world are you saying? 3 seconds to shoot. Barkley, and rebounded by Williams. Now that's a bad foul. Backcourt. Shackelford hacking Scott Williams. Number 4 on Shackelford.
Personal foul, Charles Shackelford, is 4th personal foul.
Mistakes and bad mistakes at bad times can be costly. You see the reaction of Shackelford knowing that his judgment was not good, and that puts Scott Williams on the line. They really forced the Bulls to struggle at the offensive end, but Chicago again has been able to at least return close to the ground by getting to the line.
Arvin Gilliam returns for Shackelford. Gilliam also has 4 fouls. 27 seconds left in the third quarter. Gilliam paying immediate dividends with a rebound. Trap in backcourt. Barkley safely across the timeline for the Sixers.
The Sixers should hold for 1. You see Barkley put the 1 finger in the air. There's about a 2-second differential between game and shot clock. Here comes Johnny Dawkins.
Barkley spots for a 3 that's way short. Air ball. Michael at the buzzer. Just missed. That's the end of 3 quarters of play. Sir Charles has been the hero, and the Sixers lead by 7. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. Back in Philadelphia, where a Philly pretzel is irresistible even to a well-traveled NBC cameraman, and the 76ers have tied the Bulls in knots so far.
They have. They've done an excellent job of doing what they wanted at both ends of the floor, but they have got to keep the Chicago Bulls off the free throw line, and we'll see how they do.
Here's a steal. Grant to Barkley, and a foul. No basket. The foul occurred out on the floor. Grant and Barkley combining for the steal.
Now, the Bulls have been boasting about how smart a team they are. This is a smart play because they were sure to get a dunk out of Barkley out in that position. They grabbed Greg Grant just as they flipped the ball. You see the free throws. The Bulls got 13 of 21. The 76ers just 5 of 6. And that's really what was able to keep them in the ball game. 11 of 22, so 4 more field goals. for the 76ers and the Chicago Bulls.
Back here, come on.
Philadelphia's basketball in backcourt. Ron Anderson set to pitch it in. Be surprised we haven't seen Manute Bowles for the Sixers today.
Well, they like to use Manute Bowles to change the tempo of the ball game and get him into a running game out of the defensive end. They haven't needed it so far this afternoon. The Chicago Bulls have not been able to control Charles Barkley. What they don't want to do is become a team that stands around.
Anderson is ready for the pass from Barkley, but couldn't hit. An off-balance attempt at a foul by Wiggins. Fans wanted a foul, but no whistle. Wiggins went down pretty hard. Hanson back to Williams. And Williams taps it out of bounds. 76ers will get it. Ray Grant on to replace Dawkins at the point for the 76ers.
The guy they want to try to unleash here is Ron Anderson. He's running around a bunch of screens now, being chased by Scottie Pippen. That means that Barkley's being covered by Livingston against the clock.
Draws the double team as Williams comes to help. He finds Ruland and a Chicago foul.
Personal foul, Scott Williams. His second.
Scott Williams for number 2 as he gets a little lecture from Phil Jackson.
What he's telling him is, Scott, we don't want to have to steal the ball. We had him under control. That was going to be a violation. Now they've got the ball back in another 24 seconds. Again, they're trying to get Anderson untracked here. Pippen's doing a good job of forcing him away from the spot. Livingston not happy with that call, but now we're seeing Chicago with swing fouls themselves. They could be headed for an early call and a penalty, which could reverse the fortunes of the 76ers with that free throw graphic we showed earlier.
Livingston trying to come over the top on Barkley, guilty of number 3. Wiggins to Charles.
And for Barkley, he's got to make his move a little bit earlier. That's a tough off-balance shot.
Slapped out of bounds. It'll go to Philadelphia.
Now, you can't give a team, no matter what their condition and how they have played, 4 or 5 possessions before you eventually get burned. The 76ers have been trying to find Anderson first, Barkley second.
There's 24 on the shot clock. Ruland posting up on Williams, makes a quick move, and drew another Chicago foul.
Personal foul, Scott Williams, his third
There's been a
personal
foul fest on this possession for the 76ers. 3 called against Chicago this possession.
On 14 fouls, 10 minutes to play, no score in the ball game, but there could be a lot of scores out of this. They're going to get Ruland this time for a moving screen. But out of all of those possessions, we got nothing but whistles and no score.
So far, both teams pitching a shutout in the 4th quarter. 76ers still lead. Just under 10 minutes left in the game. Ahmad Rashad listening in during the timeout to the Bulls huddle. What'd you find out, Ahmad?
Well, Tom, they're a little bit disappointed. They haven't been able to accomplish what they wanted to do with Cartwright down low. So they're going to rest Jordan to around the 8-minute mark and then try to bring him in and try to penetrate and take everything to the basket.
All right, Ahmad. 86-79. Philadelphia has led most of the way. Biggest lead has been 10 on several occasions.
Trying to post up B.J. Armstrong, but if that's the case, what you want to make Chicago become is a perimeter team. They're shooting against the shot clock with B.J. Armstrong.
Tough defense by Greg Grant on B.J. Armstrong. Moved his feet to cut off the baseline and then knocked the ball out of bounds.